It's a zigzag here. Maybe. Do you hear that? It's a hawk or something. Got these leaves here. Sun's beaming through from up there. And there's also these light patches I'm gonna try to...
There's also these light patches here I'm gonna try to compose.
Nice. Nice light on those leaves. There's some light up ahead here.
Also looks pretty nice.
Interesting composition. It's just after 3 p.m. and the lighting's surprisingly soft. Maybe it's because the sunset is gotten a little earlier these days, but yeah, I really like the light right now, but I got things to do, so I'll come back tomorrow morning. Good morning. It's almost 2 p.m. Instead of waking up early, I woke up at a normal time and then got to editing. Look at this. The path with this like little solo tree. I might try to find a composition here. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure that was a waste of time. Anyways, skipped going out this morning, finished an edit, got it up, and yeah, now I'm not here. So go watch the last video if you haven't. And yeah, let's find more pics. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. That's a thumbnail. The lighting is fine today. It's like a sort of a, it's kind of harsh, but then it's like a soft harsh, but it's still harsh. Looking up at these leaves here, there's a lot of color to work with here because we have these green leaves, the blue sky in the background, and then those orange leaves in the back. There's a few ideas here. I'll talk through what I'm doing here because I think the creative process is important to explain. When I'm taking a photo of these leaves, you notice how I'm sort of hovering back and forth. I'll just do that and I'll just take photo after photo, like rapid fire, and I think one of them will end up good. And that's all there is to it, kind of. Here's a photo I was gonna try, but I think I'm gonna pass on. But what I saw is I like the lighting on the tree. I like how it stands out against all this, but there's just a lot of contrast and clutter in the background to where I don't think it's gonna work. I could try like some editing, but all right, there's this right here. There's a little bridge for people and bikes to go across. I took a few photos and maybe like I'll explain what I do at first. The thing I think about most is like composition, and so I usually start with something like this. Like I'll center my subject and then start working from there. So I'll try moving around this area, maybe going to the other side and seeing what I can get. All right, I was walking across and I noticed the patterns here, the lines in the board, and then I noticed the green on both sides, and there's also like red here too. So you have green, red, green, good contrast colors. And then I want to take a photo, like a product shot of my shoes or something. The lighting might be way too harsh for this with all these shadows, but we'll give it a go. All right, and then the other side here, I kind of get like a tunnel view almost. I'll try composing that. I'll take a screenshot here. I'm composing this boardwalk, and this, like what I'm seeing is this sort of black circle, which is the shadow in the center of the frame. And I'm gonna just move around, maybe come a little closer. Oh, and then I noticed this leaf here in frame. Maybe I can use that for some foreground in some way. Maybe come off to the side a little. So yeah, I'm just moving my camera around a lot and looking at the screen and seeing how it looks and seeing if there's a nice composition there, and that's pretty much how this stuff goes. And so, oh, creaky board. So off to the side of this, I noticed this, and I don't know how it will show up in camera, but what I'm seeing is all this around it. It feels more green, obviously, because it's green. But then this, with this patch of light, I don't know how well it's showing in camera. So this lighting right here compared to everything around it, especially the lighting around it, is very soft. And it's also very like deep red, orange, like these earthy tones. And it sort of popped. It like popped and got my attention amidst all the green. So frame that up in some way. And then I just saw these boards right here too, and that helps with the composition a bit. Didn't even see those at first. But one thing to mention too is as I'm taking this photo, I'm gonna take an exposure that's maybe more like this, maybe not that bright, but like that or so, and then also something like that that's more dark, just for editing. I don't know which one's gonna work. Can you see my piece? And so for something like today, I got something in my eye. For something like this today, I'm just taking a walk to get out and move a bit. So I'm not expecting like really grand photos. Sorry, my nose is running.
Gross.
I'm not expecting any like phenomenal photos today. Maybe I'll be surprised, but really I'm just getting out, walking and getting some steps in, taking photos along the way and just practicing. That's all I'm doing. Big old stump. Notice this stick right here is kind of in the way. I'm just gonna place it with its friends over here. I initially looked at this, like something like framing it between these two. But then I came over to this side. So I'm framing the stump now between those two trees there. All right, so I started at a higher angle, like this or so. Then I went a lot lower, but I like something in the middle, like this, because you have, this is almost, like it almost holds the frame in the center. And what am I trying to say? Basically, I'm centering this big stump to the center of this stump. I guess that's the stump. All right, got a bunch of the same shot back there, basically. Tried it vertical as well. I've only walked like a quarter of a mile and I've been here for over half an hour, so I'm gonna get to the top. Look at this lighting. It's showing up more orange in real life, but I think you can angle it up like this. I've been surprised at how much I like the 5X camera. I've had zoom lenses in the past, and actually one of my favorite lenses I still have is this little tiny 80-200. But other than that lens, I never really used zoom lenses because they're just big, heavy, and kind of clunky, and it's been fun to experiment with the 5X because, yeah, now that zoom lens can fit in my pocket, so cool. Maybe. See, like something like this would be nice to have someone just walking through that path there, because you could frame it like person walking right here, tree composed, and then I'll take another screenshot here. But those two lines that are going vertically, I'd line up this tree with one and the person walking with the other. Then you have this in the middle that actually sits nicely with that shadow as like a center piece for the, you know what I'm trying to say. Honestly, this episode's pretty off the cuff. My plan was to come here and take photos, and then I started yapping and haven't stopped, so here's another. For this one, I'm using, you can sort of see this circle here, so I'm using that to sort of be the center of the photo. Does that make sense? I don't know how to describe this, but a lot of times I'll look at like the compositions and the frames I'm making almost as shapes. And so those last two photos, they had those shapes in the center. That bush with the shadow on it, and then that little section right there in the last photo. And I'll have those in the center of the frame almost to like Does that make sense? Alright, so now we're into a little bit different lighting environment. It's like a soft reds and greens, mixed shadows and highlights, but the highlights are pretty soft. There's a nice S-curve in the path. Then I noticed these two trees right here. I'm gonna compose those center frame with the trail running in between the center of those two trees. All right, I took a few in that section, and I think I like the wide angle the most because the sun's flaring out there in the top left. And now there's this little patch of light mid-trail. Just back up. I'll just work with these. There's like 3 trees here. I'll maybe switch sides and move around and just use those trees to compose this light right here and maybe use foreground element. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna, whoa. But I'm gonna stop now. I've taken enough decent photos today. I wanna take some good ones. So I'm gonna wait till sunset for more, but here's the view. I'm gonna compose it with these 2 trees, and like right here is the grid lines, and they're just outside of them. So that's what I'm looking at with composition. All right, this was too nice to pass up. Nice colors. You got fall leaves on the ground and a good composition. Definitely something there. All right, it's like 9 a.m. the next morning. I'm just gonna walk and take photos and probably not talk as much. I've yapped enough this video, so enjoy the rest of this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Here's a little pathway right here. It's pretty cool. All right, this is pretty cool. You have this like water treatment thing or something here, and I don't know if you can see it through the hold on. There's like these reflections on the roof there from the sun hitting the water, reflecting onto the roof there. See what I can find here. The path is actually pretty sweet. I like the composition here with landscape on the left and all this industrial stuff on the right. I had a bit better angle here. It might look better on video, but I'll take a few photos and see what there is. Okay, here it is. I like this angle because I want to zoom in quite a bit here. Actually, like right there-ish. And if I crop it like that, it has this cool like area up here as a corner and down there as a corner. Nice composition there. I don't know if that worked or not, but I guess we'll see. All right, I like this composition. I don't know if it's cool to anyone else, but it just feels nice. It feels composed nicely. It just feels like everything kind of has it's like all centered in there. Maybe it sucks, I don't know. Again, it's kind of going back to that shape thing. Like I almost saw a square or something in the middle. I don't know. All right, last photo for this episode. I actually do have a decent teaching point here. What I'm noticing is this light mixed with this shadow and this red, green, and in editing I'll probably make the shadows blue, so I notice a lot of colors here, and with this light coming through you have a big contrast. And I think there's some sort of frame, something like this, but I don't exactly know what I'm doing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step as far back as I can, take a photo of something like this, and then crop it in later, because I don't exactly know what I want the composition to be. But then I'm gonna back up and almost get some sort of like safety photo that I can crop in later to a composition I like. But one of the ones I actually composed might work. Anyways, that's all for this episode. Turned more into like a teaching vlog more than anything, which is kind of fun. I enjoyed it. It's like a challenge for me to try to convey what I'm thinking, especially creatively. Not even sure if the photos turned out well, but it's good practice anyway. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And that's all. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.